Welcome back everyone. Today I'm looking at cheap AliExpress tools, see if they do the job or not. Spoiler alert, I've used this one for nearly 4 years. It's fantastic. So what we're going to do is going to strip this Cannondale down to a bare frame and use as many tools as we can and see if they're up to the job or not. So I've tried to put together a bit of a home mechanics toolkit really from anything on AliExpress. I think this entire table worth is probably about £100, maybe slightly more than that. AliExpress prices tend to fluctuate quite heavily. But this should cover pretty much most scenarios that you're going to find for a sort of modern bike. There's no spanners in here because most bikes don't really use spanners nowadays. One omission I have made is Torx keys, so you might need some of those. Anyway, we'll work around that. So just quickly around the table, we've got a derailleur hanger alignment gauge, cable cutters, Allen keys, obviously you need those. A cassette removal tool, some internal hose routing tools, set of pliers, set of picks, there's a basic torque wrench, we've got a mallet, a chain whip, a pedal spanner, some tyre levers, chain wear tool, this and this are part of this, a chain tool itself, a very basic press, a crosshead screwdriver, and a bit of a bottom bracket tool. So we're going to go through, try and use as many of these as possible on this Cannondale. If not, I'll try and demonstrate them separately. And what I'll also do where possible is compare them to the tools I would normally use as well, so from a pro workshop. So without further ado, let's get stuck in with these. Allen keys first. You can't go very far without a set of Allen keys. You might have seen the quick video I did on this Cannondale. It's basically a ruin. I'm going to strip it down to frame and fork, and that's going to get repainted and rebuilt into something different. So 99% of these components are going in the bin basically. So we're going to strip all this down today and use these tools in the process. So first obviously we need to get things off. Allen key, so this is a 5mm Allen key. These Allen keys I think around about £5–6 UK. I actually bought these as a bit of a joke to compare them against my £50–60 set that I use all the time, presuming these are going to be made of chocolate. Well, I was wrong. These are actually really good. I've had a bolt in the vise, really swinging on this with a bar, expecting it to be destroyed, and it's literally as good as new still, so I think these are pretty promising. Anyway, let's crack on with these. Bearing in mind these bolts are going to be absolutely rubbish as well. And we need a Phillips screwdriver here first. So probably the vast majority of these tools are made by Tupri. I've been massively impressed with these so far. There you go, straight away. I don't know if this is JIS or not, but that's a good fit. So on these you normally just need to give it a good whack. There you go. That'll just come straight off. There's your plug, there's your 90s bar end. This bolt's clamped in the vise very tightly, and this is 5mm. I'm hoping the bolt will fail first. Yeah, that's literally twisting the head of that bolt straight off. As I say, I bought them thinking they were going to be a joke, and actually look, they're really good. All that's doing is twisting the bolt. Oh, that's going to shear off and smash my camera lens if we go any further, but Allen key's perfectly good. Pretty impressive. Can't get that out, it's that tight. Most people are going to need this. Pedal spanners are basically a 15mm spanner, but they tend to be a bit thinner on the end, so you can get them in behind the cages, etc. And they tend to be a bit longer for more leverage. These are not too bad at all. Some pedals have got just an Allen key on the end. Depends on your bike. Like I say, this is not going to be a universal toolkit. It depends on your bike very much as to what's going to be suitable or not. But pretty much everything you need is going to be on AliExpress. There is an Allen key in there, so we'll try the 6mm on the other pedal. So it's a 6mm Allen key, and you've got a left-hand thread on your pedal. So you just squeeze that down, and that's broke that off, no problem. So the only difference between this AliExpress one and the one I normally use, which is Weeha, is basically the length, really. So you get a bit more leverage on this longer Weeha one, but performance-wise, he's done the job perfectly well. It's even the same colour. These are fantastic. If you want to treat yourself to a pro set though, then Weeha is my recommendation. Not Weera, Weeha. The Weera ones with these plastic covers, they tend to be a bit restrictive when you've got sort of tight access. This rubber cover gets in the way really, so Weeha for me. I have many different 5mm though. This is Weeha, Facom, Bondus, all good stuff, or AliExpress. Next up is cable cutters. I've had these Tupri ones for the best part of 6 weeks now. I've been using them, as you can see, pretty much daily, and they're fantastic, honestly. Normally I use these Hosans. Obviously these are fantastic, but they're 10 times the price, literally. I think I paid £6 for these, and honestly, for a home mechanic that's going to use these, I don't know, maybe once or twice a month, these are going to work absolutely perfectly. Let's just cut this cable off. No problem at all. Outers, anything like that, it just goes straight through like butter. Fantastic. Well, plenty of cables to cut, so we'll just carry on with these. Front derailleur. This is a housing with a cable inside it still. Again, straight through there, no problem. Nice clean cut as well. That's where the inner cable's still fitted. Obviously you wouldn't normally do that, but it does it, no problem. Very impressed with these. Stepping up, we need an 8mm Allen key for this one. There's a very rusty bolt. This bike is destroyed, guys, I know, don't you watch the video, you'll find out why. That's no problem either. I didn't get a crank puller because a lot of people don't have sort of 3-piece cranks anymore, they're all hollow tech, so I'll have to use something else on there. This is a Junior crank puller that I normally use. I broke my part tool once, so I replaced it with this one. However, most of you are going to use something like this if you've got these sort of cranks, so we'll use this one. Actually, before I do that, I'll take the chain off with this. This is a Rider Ace chain tool. It actually looks really good quality as well. It's got super smooth thread on it. It seems to have a spare pin in the handle. Yeah, it comes with a spare pin as well. It feels good, feels substantial. It's not the usual cheap rubbish that you get. Obviously, this chain's got a quick link anyway, but we'll demonstrate for the purpose of this video. So this is an adjustable sort of stop on the end, I guess. Just locks it in place and stops it moving around, which is good. Just get your chain tool in, split your chain. No issues. Again, how many times is someone going to do this in a year as a home mechanic? Very rarely, I guess, but in a workshop, a chain tool is a very, very heavily used tool. Right. No issues there either. Again, I've got very little doubt that's going to do the job perfectly well for occasional home mechanic use. So just screw that in, no problem. Super easy, get it as far in as it'll go fairly easy. You don't need to go crazy tight with this, but make sure all the threads are in, like that. I didn't buy any spanners, as I say, but this, I think it's actually supposed to be a 16, that's why I let it off. That was on well. Yeah, cranks off. Didn't get a bottom bracket tool either, but I'll show you what I use for that, which is available, I think, on AliExpress. Take the other side off. I've got this other 8mm that came with a cassette removal tool as part of that. I'll use that for this one. Doesn't fit very well. I'm not going to use that. I'm not sure what brand this was, but there's several manufacturers that seem to show exactly the same picture, so I'll put a link below for the one that I've got. In fact, obviously I'll put links below for everything. There will be affiliate links, so it might earn me 2p if you use them, so that'll be good. I'm going to use this Junior on that one because that was a bit like hard work with that one. Sometimes these are pretty tight and it's easier to use a mallet, so guess what? 2p make a mallet as well. Rubber mallet, let's go with this. It can be useful just to, like I say, just get this started, just to break the taper, and then it'll come off, hence why this rubber's split, because I've done that before many times. Right, there you go, not too bad now. That's off. Bottom brackets, I've used this ice tool for, I don't know, many years on a powered air gun, and it takes a massive thrash and it's never ever let me down yet, so ice tools for the win on this one. Obviously you can get more expensive ones, but wow, this thing's been fantastic. If you do get one, make sure you get one with a 1/2-inch socket drive on it like this, and just whip this straight out. And you're messing around with bottom brackets. Disgusting. Ugh. Wonder where the water was coming from. There it is. Jesus. Nice. Probably should have ordered a snorkel. Jesus, this is a tight one. Wow. This has turned into a how to remove a bottom bracket video now. Right, up the power on this thing. Jesus. That's insane. That's tight. Yes, it's got a left-hand thread. Yes, I'm screwing it this way, which is the right way. That's tight. Hence it's been full of water for God knows how long, and that's done its job on this steel and aluminium. It's helped the galvanic corrosion along quite nicely. It's probably salt water. Anyway, I'll persevere with this. It's not part of the video. I've done a whole video on this before, so if you want to see that, then have a look, you'll find it. This bike's probably a pound lighter now with all that water coming out of it. XTR front mech on this. I don't know where this has come from on this random bike. The rest of the bike's pretty rubbish, so it certainly didn't come with this, that's for sure. So XTR front mech for sale if anybody wants it. 31.8. So I have no issues with these Allen keys at all, honestly. Issues with that bottom bracket though. Get this rear mech off. Again, none of this is being kept. Got a water feature in my workshop now, which is nice. I might keep this for a derailleur for a project, but the rest of the bike is just trash. Honestly, wow, what a terrible job someone's done on this. Before we do take the wheel off, I'll demonstrate the alignment gauge for the derailleur hanger. Like I say, I've used this almost daily for 4 years. It's been fantastic. I've done another AliExpress video where I featured this. Honestly, it's awesome. And £20, I think. Depends when you get it. Like I say, AliExpress prices do fluctuate slightly, so shop around and you'll find it from a different seller, cheaper, or hang around, it'll go down. So it's exactly the same as any other derailleur hanger alignment gauge you would use. Spin it up to the top of your wheel, push it in, set your elastic band on there. You don't need to lock it down. All you're interested in is this elastic band here. Swing it down to the bottom of the frame and see if it meets the wheel. So we're about 1 inch out here, miles out. So then you would just obviously use this tool. You'd either replace your hanger or you can use this as leverage to straighten it up a little bit. And then just keep comparing that top to bottom. It helps if your wheel's straight as well. Almost certainly this wheel is not straight, so I'm not going into too much detail, but that's basically the principle behind it. And use it on one side as well. Well, if one side's straight, then the other side's got to be straight. So it's 3 points of contact basically, there, there and there, just to get this aligned. So you get away with little tweaks on aluminium. If it's bent sort of 90 degrees, clearly you've got to change it. Normally you get away with sort of one straightening, and then after that it's going to be time to replace it because aluminium work hardens and it's just going to snap eventually. So honestly, fantastic tool. If you need one of these, then just grab this one. It's fantastic. Right, so we get this wheel out. It's actually got a Derailleur cassette fitted to this, so I'm going to take this off and see if it's any use as well. So we'll just drop this wheel out, which is also destroyed. Yeah, bearings are shot on this, so we'll use the cassette tool, see if we can get this off. This cassette tool comes as 3 pieces. I think it's basically a 1/2 inch drive there, which is good. I'm hoping I've got clearance there to get in there. I guess this just goes in here, goes in there, and then this 8mm it gives you is basically your lever for it, so that should work. And they also give you a basic chain whip as well. I don't think people at home are going to be doing this much more than once every couple of years, so this is going to be perfectly adequate for you guys. Drop your chain whip on. And that does not fit this Derailleur lock ring. It doesn't fit, or it bottoms out before it gets there. It's not very deep there, so I'm thinking this is actually bottoming out, so I'm not sure I could recommend that one. Chain whip, we'll persevere with that one. So this is a part tool one, it's completely hollow, you're not going to get that issue, so we'll go straight through to the lock ring like that. It wasn't very tight actually, to be fair. Let me just tighten that up, see if this chain whip's got half a chance of doing it. Right, that's how tight it should be. Well, doesn't it surprise me it's not been put together properly. Right, let's see if this chain whip can survive this now. No problem. Chain whips are pretty good normally, unless you buy one that I bought and it exploded. User error, maybe. Anyway, there's a Derailleur cassette 9-speed. I'm guessing half of this titanium, it doesn't weigh much. So again, I might be able to clean that up and sell it for a tenner, recuperate some of the cost of this ruined bike. Next up, we're going to get these tyres off. So these are again 2 pre-tyre levers, genuine fake carbon fibre. Let's see if these are any good. Normally I use Pedros, but these look pretty decent shape, so we'll give them a go. Oh my god, what is this? I've got a 3-valve adapter with the bike. Result. If you've got Presta valves, these little skinny ones, and you want to change it to a car valve, get yourself one of these. They're super easy to get. Right, this is quite tight, so you do need pliers an awful lot in a workshop. So just get yourself some, these are long nose ones. Stuff like this is going to be perfect for. So this set comes with some basic normal pliers, some long nose and some side cutters. You use them all, side cutters for cable ties, etc. This for something a bit more chunky, and this for something like that. So you won't use them much, but you do definitely need a set of pliers. Oh, 2 pre-tyre levers will be interesting. I don't think you're going to need a tyre lever. I can probably just pull this one off. I might find something a bit more challenging. You definitely don't need a tyre lever for this one. Right, I'll find a different tyre because that was too easy. Dig this one out. You've seen on my 3D printed tools video as well. It's quite a tight fitting tyre on this one. Broke my 3D printed tyre levers on it. So I'm not sure these are going to be any good. They feel a bit fragile. Let's give it a go. There's a hell of a lot of flex in them. Wow. I mean, it got there in the end, but I mean, it might do the job, but yeah, seriously. If you're going to buy tyre levers, get Pedros, honestly. Believe you me, I've tried nearly every tyre lever under the sun, and I always go back to Pedros. This is their limited edition 35-year anniversary colours. I bought a few sets of these. They're not unbreakable, you will break them if you use them all the time, but generally speaking they're pretty damn good. Let's try this cassette, see if this is different. Now again, that won't fit onto there, so this tool is not deep enough. Doesn't even really line up. Yeah, just a very poor fit. Try these side cutters on a spoke. I'll say this wheel's going in the bin, it's just awful. Just can it cut a spoke? When you cut a spoke, point it away from you, unless you've got rim tape on you, okay, but this will fly out at a million miles an hour. Honestly, they've got some huge amount of tension in them. It's going to struggle with that one. Let's try the pliers. You probably get there, but you're going to break your hand. So what I use is these mini bolt cutters. Very sort of handheld size. No problem, not like butter again. Great tools they are. I'm not sure where I got these from, certainly not AliExpress, sorry. When I looked at this caliper the other day, it was hold on with about 6 washes on either side, and there's literally 2 threads of this hanging into this mount. So bad, honestly. It's just terrible. The way people attempt to build, air quotation marks, bikes is just shocking. These brakes that go in the bin as well, Hayes Dot, I think they are, just awful things. So I use the smaller Allen key on these little ones here, because the smaller ones are normally where you sort of struggle with the quality. Yeah, well they're not tight anyway, so that's not much of a test, but I'll put something in the vise again. You see the state of this paint on this Cannondale, I think that's someone's attempt at touch-up paint. It's just terrible. And it's all fell off here anyway, so I am going to paint this frame. I don't normally paint frames, but I'm going to give it a go on this occasion. Not today. I'll try this smaller bolt in the vise again, but I can't open my vise, I've done it that tight, so too pre to the rescue. Oh, it's just 4mm. Again, nice and tight. Sorry, vise. All in the name of science. Right, 4mm. Let's give this some abuse. Jesus, it's a much stronger bolt as well. You can see that, I think he's bending there, I'm giving that so much. It's holding on though. So it just came loose in the vise, Allen key's totally fine. Actually sheared the bolt off. Allen keys 2, bolts 0. Just before we continue, I want to take a minute to thank this channel's ongoing sponsor, sportandleisure.com. Sport and Leisure are a UK-based cycling retailer with thousands of parts, tools, clothing and accessories ready to ship. Their listings are clear with proper descriptions and really good photos of the actual items you are buying, which I genuinely appreciate. Some of the other sites I've had to use, oh my god. And here's the best bit, if something's listed as in stock, it really is, sitting on the shelf ready to go. Better still, you can order before 3 PM and it ships the same day. UK shipping is free on all orders, but if you need it next day, it's only £2.50, an absolute bargain. If you're after new wheels, brakes, or even full group set or levers, their prices are pretty much unbeatable. You can still use code BCR10 at checkout on your first order for an extra 10% off the already great prices. So the link's in the description below. Thanks again to sportandleisure.com. Let's get this equally terrible front wheel off. I don't know why I bought this bike, it's just terrible. They'll get used for something. Another tool you use a lot are picks. So if you've got a cable like this, you normally need to just reopen the end up. A pick is really good for that. If you're trying to get something out of a frame, use a 90-degree one. Again, no real reason to doubt these are not going to do the job unless you get carried away and try and use them as levers, but that's not what they're designed for. Part tool ones I've been using for a long time. These have been fantastic, but they are probably 10 times the price again, but they're nice because they've got magnets on the end as well. These don't have that, so yeah, if you could splash out, these are awesome. But yeah, grab yourself some picks, you need these. So torque wrenches, I've got several. I've got these Part Tool preset ones here, which are really, really good, and I've got a 1/2 inch drive, 3/8 digital, and a 1/4 inch drive here. For most home mechanics where you're just doing your stem and stuff like that, this is probably going to do the job. This is a manual one where you basically twist it around. It gives you an indication of how tight you are. It's not going to be anywhere near as accurate as these, but it's going to give you a good indication of where you're at. So let's try this on one of these bolts. They give you a selection of bits here. So there are some Torx bits here at a push. You could get the rotors off with these, but let's try it on this stem here. What's that, a 5mm? So I'm going to undo this, and then I'm going to torque it up to 6 Newton meters, which is kind of average spec for this. So let's just undo it. So that's sort of hand tight. And then we'll torque it up. The idea of these is you're going to twist it, and eventually this handle will start bending. And when you can see a 6, you know you're about there. So it's going to be kind of there. So let's go with that. See, on a normal use it doesn't bend, and then when it gets tight it will start flexing. Like I say, there's not going to be 100% accurate, but that demonstration I've just done in the vise is how tight some people try to do these bolts. So it's going to stop you doing stupid things like that. Right, that's coming in now. That's coming in fairly tight now. I can't really see because I'm looking at the camera, but 6 there at the top one there. It's flexing on 6. Right, so I'm pulling that with one finger and it's flexing at 6. I could pull it harder, but you don't want to, because that's telling you that's basically at 6 Newton meters there. So we'll get a real torque wrench and see how far off it was. This part tool one is preset to 6. I use this all the time for stems, handlebars and stuff like that. It's fantastic. Basically you just click it in there. And that was exactly 6. There you go. I didn't press, that didn't turn at all. It was already flexed at 6 there. So that seemed to me like it was pretty accurate. It may be 7. It's certainly nowhere near 10 or 15 or something ridiculous. It was a very good indication of where it should be at. And again, that's loose there. Keep turning that, and then it stops at 6. So I think it's pretty good. Obviously, it's nothing like this sort of thing, but that's not really the idea. It's to give sort of people who don't really comprehend torque, give them sort of indication of how tight they are supposed to be doing it. And I think for that sort of thing, it's going to do a fantastic job. So yeah, grab one of them if you can. But if you want to splash out, grab something like this, because again, fantastic tool. So I've used most of the stuff on the table. I forgot to show you this, so let's have a quick go over this. Just the chainwear tool. These are really good as well. Again, I've done this in my chainwear video, and again, my other AliExpress video, I think this was in there. Really good tool. So this is a clearly ruined chain from that Cannondale. Really should measure this under some tension, but I know for a fact it's going to be destroyed. So what you do is drop these 2 pins in here, turn this bit around here until it stops, and push that in until it stops. It tells you your chainwear level then. Actually in spec, believe it or not. Wow, I'm amazed. So if it goes to your 1%, obviously you've got issues. 0.5, 0.75 is when you look at changing your chain. 0.75, normally you'll be okay. So 12-speed systems, you recommend 0.5. Feels excessive to me. Another chain that I did yesterday, I know this was a well over 1%. So we'll just drop this in and just go straight through there. You see that's literally on 1% now. And it's rattling around. That shows you how bad this chain was. Totally ruined. Really good tool actually. Luckily cleans quite well as well. Yeah, really good tool guys, honestly. Essential bit of cycle maintenance tool is a chain checker. It gets expensive otherwise, you end up changing £200 cassettes rather than just a £20–30 chain, so essential tool. This is a basic press. This is the bicycle stuff. I've used quite a bit of their stuff previously and it's been really good. I've had this one in the workshop. I don't use it a great deal nowadays, but I've had this in the workshop for a long time. Like I say, it's been used. I don't know why I bought this one for this video because I already own one. I could have just demonstrated this one, but it was £12 I think for a very basic. It'll get you bottom bracket, it'll get headset cups in as well. So really good for that sort of stuff. Don't need it on this bike, but trust me, it works no problem at all. So it's obviously stepped to different sizes, or you can just flip it over and use the flat side. So this will get most things in for you, no problem. I've left my part tool ones on here so you can see how I've used it. I use BSC now for most of this stuff, or the Uni or proper headset press, but as a push, as a home mechanic, this is going to work no problem at all. Screwdrivers, you don't use them a great deal really. Derailleur adjustment screws sometimes, most of them are Allen keys now. But you get the odd one where you need something. If you can, get a JIS one. I'm not sure if this is, I don't know to be fair. I don't really want to get my microscope out and try and work out the differences, but it worked. But if you do want to splash out, this part tool is awesome. This is JIS screwdriver, aluminium handle. This is fantastic. This gets used all the time, and like I say, it looks brand new. These are awesome. I've got 2 of these actually, one for the mobile kit and one for the workshop. Again, home mechanic. Once or twice a year, this is going to work. You'll need a smaller size as well. This is too big for a lot of stuff. The Park also do these as Allen keys as well, so they get a lot of use for derailleur screws and stuff. These are exactly the same quality. Very, very good. It's fair to say there's some similarities between the part tool and the 2 Pre though. This is a smaller part tool one, which you would probably need as well. I did try to order some grease, but it was one of those things where it looks a lot bigger on the page than what it is when you get it. But this is ZTTO, 2 different greases here. Again, quite like Shimano grease. I have bought a couple of cheap greases off AliExpress before, and they seem okay, but the consistency and they just don't seem quite as good as the real McCoy. So this is for bottom brackets. This is tool A. I'm guessing they do a set of these. I don't use these. These are aluminum. So you're not going to, the sort of leverage you see on that seized bottom bracket there, you're going to massively struggle to get it out with something like this. On a good bike that's been maintained well, it's greased when it's put in, you'll probably get it out. But on something that's seized solid like this one is, obviously this is the wrong tool for that, but something sort of similar to that, you're not going to get it out with one of these, I don't think. You're just going to break it. If you need something like that, part tool is the steel version. It's a bit longer as well, a bit more leverage. But for something like that, it's got to be steel really, in my opinion. Last one on this lot is this internal routing kit. I've got about 4 of these. What I tend to do is get them from different manufacturers, and then you get different sort of gadgets and different ends, and they tend to be fairly compatible, and you end up with a big box full of stuff that's going to get you out of any situation you want at all. So I've done quite a few videos on internal cable routing. I've got this kit, I've got another one now. I'm going to keep this because they quite often break the bits or lose the bits. But there's loads of different things in here that will screw into or clamp over hoses and stuff. But it's really, really good kit. Depends whether you need it or not. If you took your frame apart and you didn't put some liner in there before you took it out, you're probably going to need something like this. Or if you bought a frame with nothing in it, you might need something like this. But you shouldn't really be in the situation where you're needing these. If you take the cables off the frame carefully, would put liners in, you shouldn't really need this. But at a push, this will get you out of trouble. But they can be a bit fiddly. But grab one of these. Again, it's super, super cheap as well. Other than a few Allen key bolts on here, there's nothing really I can demonstrate on this. So I'll just go through a few other tools. This might take me a while. Oh my god. What I do with this, basically, I say I've done a video before on this. Use a heat gun, heat everything up pretty warm. Obviously it's aluminium, so don't go too bonkers with it. But heat it up. Penetrating fluid probably from the other side. Once you get all this water out, there's not much point spraying it here because there's nothing to get in there. But and patience, and an air gun, and a good quality tool, and eventually that'll come out. But yeah, it could be a while. Again, I've covered this in my other video from AliExpress. This is a press fit bottom bracket sort of removal installation kit. I don't use this anymore. I use the BSC kit, but I did use this quite a lot. And yeah, it works. It's a bit fiddly to put it together because it's not very clear what goes where. But once you get your head around it and work it out, this basically pulls the bearings out. There's different sizes here. It does the job. Not massively expensive. I think it's about £30 or something like that. But it will take it out and fit it again. Works. It just works really, really well. I've not broken it. Like I say, I don't use it anymore, but I've still got it. This one again is in the other video. So this is for fitting bearings into hubs, etc., suspension bushes even. So there's loads of different sizes here for different bearings. Bit of a basic handle here to wind it in. Different things, all different things. Again, I don't use this one now. I have part tool ones for wheels and suspension bushes, etc. But home mechanic, doing it once or twice a year, this sort of stuff is going to work absolutely perfectly. It's really, really good stuff. Every size under the sun, pretty much. If not, you can 3D print them. Check that video out. Really good kit. Again, not very expensive either compared to sort of pro level grade. It's going to work fine for you for occasional use. Things I didn't pick up again are spanners. Two make a good set. I know if you want to splash out, these are Facom ratchet spanners. They're automotive brand, but Facom are an awesome brand for stuff like this. They're an automotive brand, obviously, but they're fantastic quality, lifetime guarantee, equivalent to Snap-on, really, in my opinion, if not better. Again, this is a Facom Torx key. This is a T25 Torx for brake rotors, etc. I'm trying to find an equivalent that I think looks like it might do the job, but obviously I can't test it because it's in China. We have Wera and Weha sets as well. These are all Torx keys, so you need quite a few of these, really. I should have bought a set, sorry. Somebody asked me if I could test these Knipex parallel pliers, Chinese copies. I'm not going to do that. These are very expensive. I could buy one from China and use it once. That's not really going to prove a lot. You need to put these through several years testing, give it some abuse. But if you want to buy these are fantastic. Don't just get your normal monkey grips. These are sort of parallel. So you can see you squeeze it in there. These are really good for sort of aluminium components, suspension, shocks, etc. But they've got a hell of a grip on there. So these get you out of trouble quite a lot. Especially this little set, I use this all the time as well. I was a bit anti these, but to be honest, I use them all the time now. They're fantastic little tools. They do a medium-sized one as well. Maybe I'll treat myself, but yeah, these get a lot of use. Things like specific bottom bracket tools. Again, these are Tupri. These are for chain rings, actually. These are, but they do all sorts as well. Again, for sort of one-off use. I've used these quite a bit for chain rings, actually, which normally torque pretty well. They work really, really well. Clamp this in the vise, drop your crank on it and spin it off. So these are all different ones for different manufacturers because no one can be bothered to make a standard. Bottom bracket's the same sort of thing there. Most of mine are part tool, but you get the same sort of thing. Again, for one-off use, how often do you take your bottom bracket out? Every 2 or 3 years. It's going to work fine for you. Not tool related, but again, AliExpress related. I've probably covered this again a few times before, but I'll go through this. And part tool, please, if you could sell replacement covers, it would be fantastic. This one's a bit dead. It's not wear and tear, it's on sockets that fell off the shelf and smashed it, but yeah, it's not good. Anyway, all these cable ends, these are all AliExpress, every colour under the sun. Cable outer, I think there's these plastic things here. Again, you get anything on stock. So cheap. Valve caps. Again, they should be in there actually, they need filling up. These are stick-on cable guys, MotGov, again from AliExpress. Everything in here pretty much is AliExpress. And loads of stuff, so yeah. These things here, these are actually on that Cannondale. These little things here are for clamping into normal cable guides to hold hydraulic hoses. They're actually fitted to that Cannondale, you might have noticed them. But again, AliExpress, 1/10 of the price of anywhere else. But stuff like this is awesome. If you get loads of bikes in like me, obviously, then you can sort of pick and choose one that's going to match the bike, which is nice. Yeah, nice box, shame about the lid. Cone spanners, not many people are going to use these anymore. I've had these for probably 30 years now. They definitely come from AliExpress, but you'll definitely find something very, very similar on there. 3 or 4 different sizes, sort of pressed in. Again, how often do you adjust the cones on your old bike? It's up to you guys, but if you need them, these are going to work perfectly well as well. I'm a snob, but I use part tool for these. I definitely showed you this before. This is for calibrating your wheel truing stand, which lives here. It basically just drops in there. And we'll centre between these bits here, make sure it's calibrated. It's about 1/10 of the thickness of the official gauge, but to be honest, I can't really see how it won't work for the amount of times you use it. It weighs nothing. I did have the original part one, but I sold it to buy more tools and then bought this instead. It seemed like a better investment. Tool here for cleaning out your bottom bracket threads if you've got something there. Not really for cutting, it's more for sort of a chasing tool for cleaning the threads. Again, I've had this years, I still use it. I've got another one, but normally I just go straight to this one because it's on the shelf and it works super well. A bit more expensive, and again, a bit more specialist. You might not need this quite so often, but yeah, it's out there, it works. One thing I did forget to show you is magnetic tray. Don't buy it, it's just awful, honestly. It's so rubbish. So there you go, shows you what's available. Like I say, I've got plenty of tools. It still hangs on the wall, pride of place. It's a great little tool, that is, really is. Loads and loads of stuff here. Is it all AliExpress? Of course it's not. I use this daily, all the time. But the bits and pieces I showed you, in my opinion, this is for home mechanic. You're doing this sort of once or twice a year. You're doing the bigger jobs. That sort of stuff is going to work absolutely fine, honestly. If you do break it, warranty, obviously you're going to struggle with that sometimes. But AliExpress, in my experience, have been pretty good. They'll give you refunds, etc. And Tupri have got a pretty big reputation. That they've been around for quite a while now. And they do an awful lot of stuff. So I don't think you're going to go wrong with the majority of this stuff. Just be sensible. Anything that's sort of high torque, you see in that bottom bracket, you're not going to get that out with a basic £1 aluminium tool. You need something super heavy duty for that. And it's going to take me the rest of the day to get that out anyway. So thanks for watching. If you did enjoy the content, please consider subscribe. I say there's some other videos that I mentioned, the 3D printing tool, the other AliExpress tool video. I'll try and remember to put a link down below, but if not, search for it, you'll find them easy enough. Anyway, thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of your day. Easy.